I'm Cathy Brewer. I'm talking to you from Villiera Wines, which is in the Stellenbosch wine region of South Africa. We've been selling wine in Ghana for many, many years, a super friendly place. We retail and restaurants, so I've been on travels there a few times and I'm more than happy to go back. I've done a lot of training sessions there with the sales team of TT Brothers. And they sell the whole range of our wines, from Cup Classique, white, red. And my family purchased Villiera in 1983, so it's our 40th year. So we know our vineyards pretty well. We focus on Cup Classique, which is, in South Africa, Cup Classique is a classic bottle fermented sparkling wine. So obviously in France they call it Champagne, or if it's outside the Champagne region, it's Méthode Traditionnelle. In Spain it's Cava, and so it goes. In South Africa it's Cup Classique. So your quality sparkling wine that's fermented in the bottle is called Cup Classique. You can see one of them here, which is Pearls of Nectar, which is a new addition to our range. It's a sweeter bottle fermented sparkling, which you can taste shortly. We met up with a champagne producer in 1984, and just by luck we started making this product because it really put us on the map. At that stage hardly anyone in South Africa was making bottle fermented sparkling wine. It's now grown, and it's still growing, from a handful of producers to over 300 that are all making this beautiful sparkling wine that's fermented in a bottle. And then we have a really strong linked to sustainability. You guys have all just been on a game drive. We believe in putting back into nature. Our whole cellar and all our houses run on solar, which is quite important in South Africa with all our load shedding stories that we have here. We produce more power than we actually need, so that goes back into the grid. You will have seen all the game we've introduced into our wildlife sanctuary are all game that were originally indigenous to this region of the Western Cape. And it just adds an extra bow in our string in the tourism side of things, because every wine farm in South Africa has a tasting room, and then you need to add something different, whether it's food or whether it's an experience. Ours is game drives, which makes it's a unique selling point of ours. And then we also have the Pebbles project, which is a huge important project in the winelands. It employs over 100 people now. They look after the early childhood development of thousands of kids in the winelands and the parents. So there's a clinic linked to the whole thing for the whole health side. There's a feeding scheme so the kids get 2 healthy meals every day. There's tertiary education opportunities. One of the sons of one of our vineyard workers is now studying to be a doctor. That's just one example of all the opportunities that there are. And so that covers it's not just about sustainability as far as the environment goes, it's also the sustainability of the people. And and then we've got a sort of bigger story to tell. My family have owned Villiera for 40 years, but we recently sold to a French company who also bought another vineyard in South Africa called Neertlingshof. And they really are going to invest in the planting of vineyard, in the growth, in the labeling and the bottling, in employment, and they are really serious about keeping our sustainable story going. And the whole Pebbles project, they've just bought them a really wonderful bus, I can see it down there, which seats over 20 people, and it helps to get kids to outings and bring people to the clinic and all of that sort of thing. So there's a bigger story than just wine, but wine is the most important because that's how we make our money, to be able to handle all the rest of everything. But yeah, thanks so much for visiting us. It's always great to get other people from Africa into our tasting room, and we all support each other. Look, I've never felt that I've been held back by being a woman. Probably in the past, most winemaking positions went to men. And, it was like that same in kitchens, where your chef was a man and your caterer was a woman. But that's not like that anymore, and I think there's so many women that have shown that they can do it, and it's just what you choose to do with your life. And then in South Africa, there's an extra focus because of our history. It is really important to have a multicultural, multiracial workforce. And so women are looked at more on a preferential scale when people are employing people for certain positions. People of color and women who were more disadvantaged in previous times. Look, climate change is real. I mean, our harvest used to start towards the end of January. It now starts towards the middle of January. Not every year. We haven't been hurt as badly as some countries in extreme weather conditions, although we had a huge storm here the other day that wiped out flooded areas, knocked trees over. So it's happening here too. I think all you can do is look after your own little area and make sure that you're doing whatever you can. So we use electric vehicles in the vineyard. We use people instead of machines. We pick by hand. We don't plant cover crops. We let the natural grasses grow between the vines. We don't irrigate our vineyards with a whole lot of water. We've got quite a lot of dry land vineyards, so the roots just grow deeper and they can survive more extreme weather conditions. But you have to keep adapting and changing the way you prune and changing the way you work in your vineyard and your cellar, and not waste water and recycle. We do everything, we recycle, we separate everything, and some people run businesses from picking up glass and plastic and tin and oil and all the different things that we use here and then separate and recycle.